I offered Gukesh a draw because I thought I'm going to be able to play a6 if I'm able to, say, eliminate these pawns, just to illustrate the point. If we get to a position like this where we each have 3 pawns on the king side, or frankly even a position like this, just to set it up, where it's 3 versus 2, I should probably still be able to draw the game. So when I went queen d7, I thought I'm going a6 is going to be an easy draw. What's the big deal? To my horror, Gukesh played the move h4, and I kind of realized this while he was thinking, actually, because I realized pretty quickly this was a mistake. But my idea of playing a6 actually loses the game here because white has queen to e5, attacking the knight. And now when I go knight d3, there's queen b8 check, king h7, and there's this great move queen to f8 with this threat of knight to e7 here, and white is just winning the game. If I play a move like pawn takes pawn, there's knight to e7, and simply this threat of queen g8 checkmate is unstoppable unless I sacrifice the queen. If I play h5, there's check and mate here. King has no squares available on g6 or g5. If I sack the queen, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to lose the game very, very soon anyway. So this is really a big shock. Now, what makes this much worse is that I thought in my mind this was a dead draw. I thought I'm drawing the game easily. We're going to go to Armageddon. And so as soon as h4 is on the board, it's really unfortunate because I don't even have an easy move to play, which means now I have to spend time. I'm going to get low on the clock, and it's almost impossible, in my opinion, to save the game. Now, the computer does say this is still possible to save after the move knight to a4 here, which I did consider, by the way, but after queen to e5 here with the same threat of queen b8 or queen a7 here, it's very hard to defend. After knight b6, check here, takes, check, king h2, queen d6, g3. Apparently, after queen c5, queen f7, and knight d5, the computer saves this game here. Honestly, I don't think even if I had time, I probably would have found this anyway, but it does show that there are always resources in every single position. Now, I think there's even this line knight d8 where I have knight c7. Beautiful move here as the queen attacks the pawn, guards the knight, hits the pawn, and this is a draw. But honestly, this is very, very tough to find. And considering my mental state of thinking that the game was a dead draw and then panicking, getting low on time, I simply was not able to come up with this move. Now, what's worse about this is that the line that I ended up playing, which was queen d6, is even worse than knight a4. Now, the lines I consider were knight b7, but I thought after knight b7 takes, knight d8, and queen to e3, white is simply pushing the extra pawn and winning the game. So then I thought, well, maybe knight d3, but now again, I think white can go knight takes a7, or even queen d2 here, and white is doing very well. So then I thought maybe knight b3, but now there's queen to e3, hitting both the pawns at the same time, and I lose this way. So finally I thought, okay, I can't move my knight, I'm down to 10 minutes, I just have to play a move. But this move is even worse, because after knight takes a7, this move is also based on another miscalculation featuring a very similar line, which is that I thought I could play queen to d4 here, attacking the pawn, and if white guards the pawn, there's queen to a1 check, hitting the king and winning the knight. But after the move knight to c6, if I go queen to h4, which is my initial idea, now white has queen to e5, and again, the same motif with queen b8, queen f8, knight e7 is simply GG, why not? A sample line is queen to c4. Actually, a sample line would be, let's say queen g5, for example, and after takes b6, knight b7, white brings the king up, you have this knight stuck here guarding the pawn, and technically speaking, this should be a win for white. So then the other line you think is, well, I go queen c4, guarding the knight, right? But now again, there's this problem with queen b8 check. If I go this way, there's a knight fork, it's a king and the queen. And when I go up to h7, it's the same problem. Knight to e7, threatening this checkmate on g8 once again. The only way to stop it is to go e5 so that I cover the square. But after queen takes e5, I'm down a pawn, this pawn's marching up the board, and the same checkmate threats remain around my king on h7. So at this point already, I probably could have resigned here, but I decided to play knight d3, and now Gukesh plays knight c6, and here I inexplicably do something which is exactly the same. I play king h8 in 2 seconds. Now, in my mind, while Gukesh was spending his 5 or 6 minutes in this position, I actually was looking at the line knight to f4, queen to c2, and then I was going to play the move king to h8 here. Now, I still would have lost the game, of course, had this happened, that the result was not in doubt, but it's really bad that I was calculating this line, and then over the board, I just play the wrong sequence with the move king h8 right away, instead of at least making Gukesh have to find maybe 2 or 3 more moves, because once I go king h8, we get the move queen to f3, the queen guards the knight, the b pawn is going up the board, and here, there's no hope for me. So I play king g8 back. We get g3, I play knight c5, king g2, and now I play the move queen d7. Doesn't really matter what I do. If I play a move like knight d7, which is another option, white can simply play queen e4. White has all day here. You can go queen d4. You can slowly move the king or start pushing the pawns on the king side. With so many options, there's just no chance for Gukesh to make a mistake. So I play queen d7. We get the move queen to f4. I play check, king h2. I go king h7, and now Gukesh plays the move queen to f7. Knight to e7 also would have been good enough, but it's kind of ironic that even though I lose this game anyway, once again, I simply did not see another idea featuring this checkmate towards g8, so maybe I need to do some puzzles, because this was probably the third or the fourth time this happened in the game. Luckily, at this point, it was already over. It didn't matter, but it's still kind of funny to note nonetheless. So now I go knight d3, we get knight e7, queen d8, takes. I decide to take the pawn on f2, doesn't matter. We get queen f5, and here I regrettably resign the game, because after king h8, there's knight g6 check. If I move away, white can simply take the horse, and if I go up, white simply goes knight to e5 check, king g8, takes a knight with an extra knight and a pawn. There's simply no hope for me here. So, this is a very, very disappointing game to lose, primarily because even though I was suffering out of the opening, I had finally turned the tables and gotten it back to an even situation. But alas, I fell asleep at the wheel for one move. I missed one little nuance, this queen e5, queen b8. This queen e5, queen f8 idea, which is really unfortunate. It does happen, obviously. I would have preferred if it did happen in this game, certainly. But, you know, it is what it is, and you can't always be perfect. So, the reason I'm unhappy, of course, is because of that. But at the end of the day, you know, you're not always going to survive bad positions. Sometimes your opponents are going to find good moves. They're going to put pressure on you. And so it wasn't meant to be today. It's a very difficult loss. That being said, there is a bit of good news despite losing, which is that Arjun Erigaisi, the player who's closest to me in terms of rating as we march potentially towards the FIDE Canada's tournament and the rating spot, lost his game, meaning that even though I lose, I still have a 20-point cushion as we go into the fourth round of Norway Chess tomorrow. Now, obviously, that doesn't matter in general, but it's still a bit of good news moving forward, so you always have to look on the bright side. And the one last point that I want to add about this, aside from the fact that Gukesh showed great technique towards the end, is that if you had asked me before the tournament if I was going to be on an even score after 3 rounds with 1 white and 2 blacks, I would have been ecstatic with that result. I would have been happy with the result. So maybe I got it in a way that I would not be happy with, but nonetheless, it's still completely fine. And we move on to play in round number 4 tomorrow, when I will have the white pieces against I believe Wei Yi. Is it Wei, or I think it's Wei Yi. I might be wrong, but I think I have white against Wei Yi tomorrow in the 4th round. So, of course, it'll be the final game before we have the first rest day of the tournament. So I'm just going to move on, focus on that game, and we'll see how it goes. So obviously a big disappointment today as I suffer a loss against Gukesh, the current world champion. But I hope you guys enjoyed the recap from this 3rd round game here in Norway Chess. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you smash that subscribe button below. And we will be back with a recap after tomorrow's game against the #1 Chinese player. Hope you guys enjoyed it and have a great rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.